Sergeant Rice C. Bull, 1st New York Volunteers. Looking down the line of our company, I could see that all eyes were to the front. There was none looking back. This was a testing time, and there was not one of our company that would not pass the test. We held our fire until we saw the line of smoke on the ridge that told us the Confederates were there. And then the order came, boom! And it was load and fire at will, hard and fast. The smoke was thick. We could see the flashing of the guns, the crashing of the musketry was deafening. Climbing over and pushing aside the fallen timber, they were soon no more than 20 feet from our lines. I just fired and was lowering my rifle, ready to reload, when I felt a sharp stinging in my forehead and blood flowed down my face and neck. Ransom Fisher, who was standing nearby, said, "You're hit. Can I help you off?" And I said, "Thank you, Ransom, but I'll make it to a surgeon on my own." And I took my rifle and knapsack, and I headed behind our company. But when in back of Company K, I felt another sharp stinging in my hip. And my rifle and knapsack fell from my hands, and I fell in a heap on the ground. I do not know how long I lay there unconscious, but when I awoke, the battle was raging furiously. Dead men lay all about. 2 dead men were across my legs. Captain Wiley of Company K was standing nearby, and he stooped over me and he said, "I thought you were dead." Now, he was an old friend of my family, but I was so covered with mud and blood, he couldn't recognize me. He ordered stretcher bearers to come, but they didn't take me to a hospital. They carried me back to a small stream that ran parallel to our lines. There, a slight depression in the ground protected the wounded from the musketry fire. When I arrived at the stream, its banks were well lined with the dead and the dying. Some had been carried there and others had dragged themselves there to die. Many were needlessly bleeding to death. There was no Red Cross Association at this time. No first aid was given to men in the field that they might treat themselves if there was no surgeon present. Many died who might have lived. I was one of the lucky ones. I lay there all day with the flies buzzing about, but at night when they came to collect the dead, they found me still breathing. They put me on a wagon and took me to town, where a Quaker man nursed me until I was strong enough to be sent home to my mother and sisters. And they cared for me for 3 long years until I was well again. And then it was time to start a new life. I decided I'd head on out west and become a pioneer.